Could the ongoing India-China border tensions be a prelude to a more significant confrontation? An intriguing question that has gripped the minds of many. The two Asian giants, with their troops stationed along the high-altitude border, have been locked in a standoff for quite some time now. But what's the real story behind this mounting tension? Is it merely a territorial dispute, or is there something more strategic brewing on the horizon? To decipher this, we need to journey back to July 2022, when Beijing announced their strategic highway network. In July 2022, Beijing announced a plan that could potentially shift the balance of power at the border. Imagine, if you will, a vast and intricate network of highways, stretching across the rugged terrain of Xinjiang and into the high-altitude region of Tibet. This isn't just an ambitious infrastructure project, but a strategic maneuver designed to bolster military mobility. Beijing announced this very plan, outlining a highway network that would serve as strategic backbone passages, a term that speaks volumes about the intended use of these roads. The objective is clear: to ensure the rapid mobilization of Chinese troops into potential hotspots along the disputed border with India. The network, once complete, would provide Beijing with a significant strategic advantage, allowing for a swift and efficient deployment of its forces in case of conflict. This isn't just about improving military logistics, but about creating a strategic edge. The highways are designed to provide the Chinese military with multiple avenues for troop movement, reducing their reliance on a single route and thus increasing their flexibility and response times. This announcement isn't in a vacuum. It's set against the backdrop of simmering tensions at the border. The disputed territory has been a flashpoint for clashes, most notably in May 2020, when a confrontation in the Galwan Valley escalated into a violent clash. The aftermath of this incident saw both countries' militaries locked in a standoff, a tense and volatile situation that remains unresolved. In the wake of the Galwan Valley clashes, Beijing's highway project took on a new urgency. The construction of the G216 highway in particular was significantly accelerated. This road, once completed, will end up near the Nepalese border, bringing the Chinese presence uncomfortably close to India's only buffer zone, but from a new direction. This move significantly accelerated after the Galwan Valley clashes in May 2020, leading to a military standoff. The Galwan Valley incident marked a turning point in India-China border tensions. A clash in May of 2020 that left both sides with casualties. It was a stark reminder of the simmering tensions that exist along the line of actual control. The aftermath was a prolonged military standoff. Soldiers from both nations held their positions, their eyes trained on the contested border, a tangible manifestation of the discord that had been brewing for decades. The world watched, holding its breath as two of the most populous nations on the planet locked horns in a high-altitude standoff. But it wasn't just a waiting game. Behind the scenes, wheels were turning, gears were shifting, and plans were being laid out. China in particular was making moves, strategic, calculated moves. In the face of escalating tensions, Beijing accelerated its work on a new highway, the G216. This highway was not a simple infrastructure project, it was a strategic chess move on the grand board of geopolitics. The G216 was designed for rapid mobilization of Chinese troops, a direct response to the Galwan Valley clashes. The road would allow for faster deployment of forces, should a similar confrontation arise. It was a clear signal that China was not just preparing for another standoff, it was preparing to win. The G216 would not just supplement the existing G219, it would change the game. With its terminus near the Nepalese border, it brought Chinese presence right next door to India's only buffer zone, but from a completely different direction. This was a strategic maneuver, aimed at keeping the Indian forces on their toes. The Galwan Valley incident had triggered a chain reaction, one that led to increased construction on the G216 highway. It was a reminder of the high stakes involved in the border tensions, and a testament to the lengths nations will go to ensure their strategic advantage. This highway, the G216, is not just another road. It's a strategic move that could change the dynamics of any future border skirmishes. The Galwan Valley incident was a catalyst, but the story is far from over. The chess pieces are still moving, and the game is still afoot. The G216 is more than just a road. It's a potential game changer in the India-China border tensions. This strategic highway, under construction at a rapid pace, is set to revolutionize the mobilization of Chinese forces. Its design is not just for convenience or connectivity, but for a purpose that carries a tinge of potential conflict. The G216 is a symbol of China's readiness for any future confrontations, a testament to its strategic foresight and military might. Now let's examine the geography of the situation. The G216 highway ends up near the Nepalese border, a geographical twist that brings Chinese presence alarmingly close to India's only buffer zone. This is not a random occurrence, but a deliberate move. The positioning of the G216 is such that it offers China an alternative pathway, a different direction to approach the border, enhancing its maneuverability and strategic options. This road is not just about transport, it's about power. It's about China being able to mobilize the biggest chunk of their forces with ease and speed. By reducing their dependence on the G219, China is able to ensure rapid response times and increase the fluidity of their military operations. However, the implications of the G216 go beyond military strategy. It signifies a shift in China's approach towards India, a move that can be perceived as a threat to India's sovereignty. It raises questions about China's intentions and the future of their relations with India. The presence of the G216 so close to the Indian border is a clear indication of China's expanding influence and its intent to maintain a strategic advantage. This highway is a physical manifestation of the growing tensions between the two nations, a symbol of the brewing storm on the horizon. In conclusion, the G216 is not just a road, it's a strategic chess move, a potential harbinger of conflict, and a clear statement of China's intentions. Its implications are far-reaching, influencing not only the military landscape, but also the political dynamics between India and China. China's strategic maneuvering raises questions about its intentions and the future of India-China relations. History has shown that China's actions on the border often have deeper implications. Let's cast our minds back to the conflicts of the past, the India-China wars, the Galwan incident, each event a testament to a pattern of betrayal, each confrontation a scar on the face of peace. The First India-China War of 1962 was a shock to India, an unexpected stab in the back from its neighbor. Fast forward to 2020, the Galwan Valley clash was yet another tragic episode of deceit. In both instances, China's actions were not just territorial aggression but a breach of trust, a betrayal that has left lasting consequences. Now, with the construction of the G216 highway, we find ourselves on the precipice of a new era. This highway, a strategic move disguised as a development project, could potentially mobilize vast Chinese forces at a moment's notice. The implications are grave, the potential for conflict high. So, what does the future hold? A pattern of past betrayals casts a long shadow over the present, and with the G216 nearing completion, it's difficult to ignore the possibility of future conflicts. The highway, designed for swift mobilization, could be the spark that ignites the next confrontation. As the G216 nears completion, the world watches with bated breath. Will this road lead to peaceful resolution, or is it a highway to heighten conflict?